So I guess this is basically a German movie, at least it's made by a German guy. But the bulk of the story, the main narrative, is set in England. And most of the dialogue is actually in English too, however there is some German. So you might want to bring out the subtitles for this one. But most of the story takes place in this small town and it focuses on the period just after World War II. It's also based on a true story and a real person, and the protagonist is a German prisoner of war, who obviously got caught and sent to a camp outside this small town. But while he's there, it turns out that he isn't half bad at playing football, or soccer for you Americans, which through a peculiar series of events leads him down a very interesting path. And this is basically just the guy's life story and how his football career got started. But that's not all there is to it. There is a significant amount of romance thrown in too, because it does focus quite a bit on his personal life too, not just his budding career. But those two things are more or less what the movie deals with the most. Romance and football, and since he is a World War II veteran, there is some of that trauma in the mix too. Things he's gotta deal with internally, but also things he's gotta deal with from society. Because, well, he is a German veteran in a post-World War II England, which is probably not the most hospitable or welcoming part of the world to be in at that time. So yeah, it deals with some of that stuff too, not in great detail, but it's there. Now when it comes to the tone, there are some darker moments here and there. And at one point in particular, it took a pretty tragic turn too. But I'd say for the majority of the movie, it did have this kind of light-hearted, humorous tone. Nothing too heavy, but there was this heavier stuff sprinkled throughout too. And overall, I'd say I enjoyed this movie. I thought it worked very well. I thought especially the chemistry between the two main characters was pretty great. And the main performance by David Cross was really good, and he did a great job with that. So no complaints there, nor do I really have many complaints when it comes to the technical side of things. It's actually a very stylish and good looking movie overall. And for the most part, the editing and the pacing wasn't really a problem either. Although it did start to feel pretty rushed there toward the end. They just tried to condense too long of a time span into too short of a runtime. And honestly, I think they could have cut out a lot of that later stuff completely. Instead, basically just focusing entirely on his earlier career, and then just sort of summarizing his later career. Which it almost felt like they did anyway, only now it felt rushed. Because they did try to cram it in there, but didn't really have time to do much with it. And yeah, I would have preferred a different approach to that. That would have also allowed them to cut out some of the more tragic stuff, which while based in reality just came across as a bit clunky and a bit too much of a bummer in my opinion. But that's really the only genuine complaint I have about this one. Overall, it's a pretty decent movie, solid all around with no huge problems. And it managed to find a new angle to World War II that I haven't seen a lot in a movie before. Which just goes to show that there's still unexplored territory there. Even if World War II in general is one of the more widely explored subjects in cinema. But yeah. How about it? Would I recommend this? Yeah, why not? Especially if you enjoy slightly humorous dramas with a dash of romance. So, you know, maybe check it out. Or don't. After all, I'm not your dad. But hey, what are your thoughts on this? Have you seen it? Did you like it? Let me know. And if you enjoyed the video, maybe give it a thumbs up or sub to the channel, because that would be fantastic. And if you'd like, you can also support me on Patreon or PayPal through the links in the description. And as always, I appreciate you and thanks for watching.